Okay, I have the feeling that this video is going to be a long one, so watch at double speed if you need to, and also grab a cup of water or a cup of coffee or tea or something and enjoy. Hi, I'm Meg. Welcome to Plant Fit Meg. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to get into something a little bit different than I usually talk about. So usually on my channel I'm discussing healthy lifestyle tips, easy plant-based recipes, sharing haul videos and what I eat in a day, things like that. And today I want to do something a little bit different in honor of my 40th birthday coming up. Yay! So this summer, as you may know if you've been on the channel recently, I'm turning 40 this year, and it feels like a really big milestone year, and it's not something I'm upset about per se. I did have a bit of a midlife crisis, I will admit, and if you've been on the channel you might have already seen that video. In case you haven't seen it or you'd like to check it out again, I will link that up here and in the description box below. But although I had a bit of a midlife crisis and I was questioning a lot of things, I don't really see that as a negative or as a bad thing. I think it was just a really great opportunity to say, oh hey, I'm turning 40, let's reflect on that and figure out what I want to do with this month, this year, next year, and just generally what's important to me, and taking a pause, taking a moment to really reflect. So I thought it would be fun to share 40 things that I've learned in 40 years. I feel like coming into my 40s, I feel very different than I did entering my 30s or my 20s, and a lot has changed. A lot changes as you get older and as you learn and you grow. Some of these 40 things that I've learned are really deep life lessons, and other things are just kind of fun and things that I think are still really important, but a bit more fluffy and a bit more light. So I hope you enjoy it. I will say that some of these things I'm still learning and still continuing to work on. So it's not like I'm turning 40 and I've learned all these things and they're all perfect all the time. Some of them are still works in progress, and that's okay. And ideally, I will continue to learn and grow and improve as I age and as I get older, and hopefully I get wiser. So I hope this video is fun and helpful to you in some way. If you do end up enjoying the video, please be sure to like it and subscribe to the channel below if you'd like to see more from me. With that, let's jump right in to 40 things I've learned in 40 years. So starting off strong, don't be an asshole to yourself. Don't be a jerk to yourself. Be kind to yourself. I spent so many years of my life being so mean to myself and having such negative self-talk and just being rude to myself. And it was awful, honestly. And so it takes a lot of time and practice to get out of that habit and to start to develop a new pattern and a new way of thinking and a new way of speaking to yourself. But the sooner you can start doing that and start practicing that and embracing that and really accepting yourself and loving yourself, the better. Being kind to myself allowed me to have better mental health, better mood, and just helps me live life in a more joyful and pleasant way. Second thing, don't be friends with people who are jerks to other people. So I used to have this really bad tendency of being friends with people and continuing to be friends with someone if they were kind to me, even if I saw them being iffy or not so kind to others. And I just kind of justified it in a way that, oh, well, they've never been rude to me, or they've never been mean to me, they've never talked about me behind my back or whatever. And I learned over time that eventually those people who are unkind to other humans will one day be unkind to you, and it's really just a matter of time. So you're much better off to let those friendships go, let those connections go, or minimize interaction with those people, because who needs that negativity in their lives, really? And I know I didn't, and I don't, and I just don't have time for that, so I just let them go. The third thing that I've learned is that if you're unhappy, either make changes, or leave the situation. And so depending on the context of what the situation is, do your best to make changes to improve the situation and make it better, or exit, just leave the situation if you're unhappy with it. So this can go for relationships, this can go for your health and lifestyle, it can go for jobs, careers. It can apply to a lot of different areas in your life, but if you're not happy about something, do something about it. Do your best to improve the situation and change it in some way. I think a lot of times we feel really stuck in situations and just feel like, oh, this is just the way it is, this is just the way it has to be. And oftentimes that's not true. Occasionally it will be, but oftentimes there are ways to improve the situation or get yourself out of it or make really big changes to improve your life. And often we have more power and more control than we think we do. So really embrace that and know that you're capable of more than you think you are. Thrifting is awesome. It can be really fun to treasure hunt a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of shopping, but occasionally it's fun to go explore and see what you can find. You can save quite a bit of money. You're buying clothes that have already been produced that would have been maybe thrown away or, stuck in a landfill somewhere. And you never know what you're going to find. The Instant Pot has a lid holder on the side of it. For the longest time, I didn't know that, and I would always not know where to put the lid. Might sound silly, but I would just put it down on the countertop, and then I realized, oh hey, there's this little slot, and that's where the Instant Pot lid lives and goes when you take it off of the Instant Pot. So the more you know. Be selfish. No one else is going to take care of you. No one else is going to come to your rescue and fix your problems or change things that you're unhappy about. If there's something in your life that you want to change and you want to do something about, then do that for yourself. Prioritize your health. Prioritize taking time for yourself and conserving some energy for doing things that are important to you. Oftentimes we can get into this mode of give, and always saying yes to everything and having no time for ourselves and no time for really just taking care of ourselves and having those moments to just decompress or relax or rest or pick up a hobby that we really enjoy. And so I highly recommend carving out some time for yourself and taking those moments to be selfish and do what you want to do. Feel your feelings. I had a really hard time really fully feeling what I was feeling, if that makes sense. So I would use food to cope with emotions and with stress, and it takes time to unlearn that and to learn how to really process and feel what you're feeling and sit with the discomfort sometimes of certain feelings, certain emotions that we sort of label as like negative emotions, like anger or sadness or things like that. And I used to always go directly into fix it mode and directly into like get rid of the emotion. Like I don't want to feel that, it doesn't feel good. And it's taken me a lot of years and a lot of time to come to a point where it's like, okay, feel the feelings, let it happen, it's okay. And at that point, move through it and try to process it. And then at that point, it's like, okay, try to find a fix or try to help yourself in some way. But it's really important as humans to allow ourselves the full range of human emotion and to not get stuck in feeling like we have to constantly be positive every second of the day and that everything is sunshine and rainbows, because life just isn't that way. Popcorn counts as a whole grain. I was so excited when I found that out. I don't know why. It was just one of these weird little things that I found when I was embarking on going plant-based and changing my lifestyle and developing really healthy lifestyle habits. And I found out that popcorn is a whole grain, and I was so excited about that. Awesome. Enjoy your air-popped popcorn. Throw maybe some nutritional yeast or some dill weed or sriracha salt or all three. Great combination. Love it. I thought that was a fun one to add to the mix. Trust your gut. If something doesn't feel right, trust that intuition and trust your gut. And that goes for many different situations, but have that trust in yourself to trust that gut instinct and that gut feeling. Mindset is huge. Mindset is so underrated. It is hugely, hugely important. Changing your mindset can absolutely 100% change your life. Of course, action needs to come along with it to make changes, but having a different mindset around things and having a different perspective can just completely change the way that you see things and the way that you do make decisions and take action. So consider the importance of having a growth mindset, a positive mindset, a mindset of curiosity and learning, having a mindset of play and joy and really enjoying your life. And not to say that every moment is going to be sunshine and rainbows, but just to say that having this great mindset and this great attitude to be able to be resilient through the difficult things and come out the other side and enjoy life and enjoy the good times. Next up is drink water. So cheers. I'll take this little moment to have a sip of water. So have a sip of water with me. So stay hydrated, drink your water. I actually have a whole video about how to drink more water, so I'll link it up here and in the description box below if you want to check it out, if you haven't already, or if you'd like a little reminder of some quick tips on how to drink more water and make it more enjoyable and easier to remember to do it. I know I feel so much better when I actually drink water throughout the day, and when I have those days that I forget to do it, I just don't feel as well. So drink your water. The next thing I've learned is that it's never too late. It's never too late to start something new, to try something different, to take up a new hobby or learn something new. I think sometimes it can seem like you're too old for certain things, or it can feel like you're just kind of beyond it and it's maybe not for you anymore because you've surpassed a certain point and a certain stage in life or a certain age, and that's really just not true. You're never too old for things. You can always embark on something new, try a new activity. I've gotten into bodybuilding in the last few years, and I'm actually planning on competing in bodybuilding in the next year or two, and I'm turning 40, and to some people they might think, oh, that's old, like that's too old to get started in that sport. And I disagree. I think it's a great moment for me to step into this and give it a try and see if it's something that I want to continue to do, see if it's something that I really love and enjoy, or maybe it's something that I do once and then I decide, hey, it's not for me, and I move on to something else. But I encourage you to get rid of that thought of I'm too old for this or that. If it's something that you want to do, something you want to try, go for it. Mood follows action. I really wish I had learned this one sooner. I always thought that you sort of had to have the right mood, the right motivation to do the thing before you took action, and that was kind of the path and the way that it would go. But often mood follows action. So sometimes even if you don't want to do the thing, but you know it's something important to you and something you want to do, and you take action anyway, and you just start and you just do it, and it might be challenging, it might be hard to do in the beginning, but you prove to yourself that you can take the action and do it, your mood follows. It becomes something that you want to do. And so great examples of this are with my healthy lifestyle habits and with making a complete overhaul of my lifestyle. So starting with that motivation and that desire for change, and then taking the action, and then even when I didn't want to do the things, maybe I didn't want to drink my water, or I didn't want to eat my veggies or eat my beans because the texture was weird, I would do it anyway, and eventually I became more accustomed to it. It became a habit, it became routine, and it got a lot easier. So taking action is hard, but the more you do it and the more steps you take, the more you flex that muscle and the more that you practice it, the easier it gets, and your mood will follow where you want to continue to do the thing. Connected to that is I learned that habits and routines are so important. And so every habit is developed from a single step forward and a single desire to change, an action that's changing and continuing to do that consistently. And it takes time, it takes patience to build habits and routines, but it's so important and it feels so good to have really healthy habits and routines and to realize how far you've come and realize, oh, this thing that I was starting to like try to develop a habit and try to establish a habit and a routine around, eventually over time you realize, oh, now it is a habit, it is part of my daily routine or my weekly routine, and it's the default setting now. It's like I'm in a new mode, I have a new standard, and it's changed. So that's a really cool realization once you get over the hump and you get through the more challenging, having to be more thoughtful about building the habit and building the routine. It's so worthwhile to get to the other side. So I highly recommend working on developing those habits and routines so that you can get to the stage where it feels easy, it feels comfortable, and it's not easy and comfortable 24/7, but most of the time it feels doable and reasonable and simple and easy to do. Comparison is the thief of joy. Very important lesson to learn. Something that I still struggle with from time to time, and especially with social media and things like that. But I found it was way more helpful to compare myself to myself, compare my progress to myself, and comparing myself to others really never helped me. It never made me feel good or inspired me or helped me to do anything or get anywhere really, and it would just make me feel bad. So I think getting inspiration from others and celebrating their wins and being happy for other people, happy for your friends or for other people on social media that you interact with, and at the same time avoiding that comparison game. When you really break it down and think about it, it doesn't make sense to compare yourself to someone else online. It just doesn't make sense. You're a different age, a different height, a different phase of life, a different lifestyle. Like there's so many things that are different, like your genetics, just where you live, how you live, just so many factors. And also social media is typically a highlight reel, and we're seeing, the best of the best. We're seeing sort of the shiny 100% people at the top of their game, and that's really cool to see, but it's also important to have that perspective of, I'm watching the highlights, I'm only seeing this one portion of this person's life, and to compare yourself to others really does steal your joy. It really does make you feel crappy. So don't do it. It takes time to get out of the habit of doing it. I know it's much easier said than done, but it's a practice worth doing and continuing to work on and continuing to learn. Question and keep learning. I think this is so, so important. We don't get to a certain age and just know all the things. As a kid and as a teen, I kind of thought, oh, well, when I'm 30, I'll know everything. I'll have everything figured out. I'll be adulting and everything will be, awesome, and I'll have it all figured out. Life will be figured out by that point forward, right? And then you get to your 30s and you're like, that's not what I expected. And then moving into my 40s, I didn't have that same expectation. I sort of recognized that that's not how it would go, and it's not. I don't have things all figured out, and that's okay. So keep learning, keep growing, keep developing and changing and improving and being the best person that you can be, the best you that you can be. Be in the moment, be as present as possible. I have a hard time with this sometimes. I sometimes have sort of overwhelm and some social anxiety and things like that. And so sometimes being in the moment feels like a lot. And especially if there's a lot going on at the same time, it can be overwhelming. But I really do try to stay as present as possible and try to really pause and enjoy the moment and be aware of what's happening around me and enjoy it. I can also really get caught up in living in the past or living in the future, and I know a lot of us have that tendency. And so if we can just sort of park the past, park park the future and just let them exist for the time being, and just be in the present moment and really focus on what's happening in the here and now. It can be really nice to just feel like you're more connected to the present moment and to what's actually happening in your life now, as opposed to, dwelling on the past or really thinking about that, or a lot of future planning and getting really, really stuck on that as well. Prioritize your health. Your health is so incredibly important. And speaking from someone who has had multiple health issues over the years, I'm a cancer survivor, I've dealt with endometriosis, asthma, I've had chronic pain and chronic fatigue. There have been a lot of health issues that have happened with me, and it sucks. It's not pleasant. It's not fun. I don't recommend for anyone to have health issues. So take care of yourself as best you can. Sometimes you have a chronic illness and it's not fixable and there's no magic cure, and you're living in it and living with it. And my best advice there is to take it one day at a time. And if one day is too much, take it an hour at a time. Really conserve your energy, do the best that you can, and really do what you can, do what you have control over. So basically take control of what you do have control over. So if you can eat really healthy, nourishing meals, if you can drink lots of water, if you can avoid alcohol, avoid smoking, if you can get out in nature, if you can go walking, get some exercise in, manage stress, all these really healthy lifestyle factors that you might have control over. Do what you can to control those factors as much as possible and do the best that you can in your current situation. And that goes for mental health as well. I sometimes forget to mention that because I just think when I talk about health, I'm talking about health in all the ways, health in terms of physical health, of course, but also mentally and emotionally and just in all the ways. So be sure to prioritize mental health as well, equally as important as physical health. Be yourself. So whatever that looks like to you and whatever resonates with you in being you and being true to who you are, embrace that and be yourself. I think this comes easier to some people than others, and it can take some time to kind of figure out, well, who am I and what do I care about and how do I want to show up in the world and how do I want to present myself and all these different things. And I think exploring that is important and worthwhile. And I think the more that I can be myself, the more it allows other people to feel like they can be themselves, and then it kind of has an effect. Hopefully it has an effect on others around as well, where they can feel free to be themselves and it kind of radiates out, ideally. Life is a lot more enjoyable and a lot more fun if you're just being you and doing what you want to do and not pretending to be someone that you're not. It takes so much more energy to try to be somebody else or try to be the way you think other people want you to be. It's so much easier and so much more fun and so much nicer to just be true to yourself, be yourself, and just show up in that way. And then people can take it or leave it. And if they like you, cool, awesome. And if they don't, that's unfortunate, but not everyone's going to like you, and that's just the way life goes. You're not always going to be everyone's cup of tea. It's okay to be quiet. And it's okay to be introverted. So I am someone who is a little more on the shy side, a little more on the introverted side of things. And that can be really misunderstood by people, especially if I'm walking around with no smile on my face and I look maybe angry or I have a little bit of that RBF going on. And going back to the whole being yourself thing, this sort of ties in, and it's okay to be a quieter human. It's okay to be a bit more contemplative or a bit more daydreamy, and to not be constantly filling the time and space with chatter all the time. I'm someone who's very comfortable in silence. So if someone else is thinking it's, an awkward silence, for me, I usually don't feel that sense of awkwardness, except for I'm concerned that the other person is feeling awkward. So then I start to feel weird because they might be feeling weird, but just generally in silence, I just feel very comfortable in it. I don't know why, maybe just because I'm naturally that way, but it is okay to be quieter, to be more introverted, to need more time to yourself, to need a little time and space to reset and recharge your batteries on your own. I highly recommend the book Quiet. I'll leave a link in the description box if you want to check it out, or take a look for it at your local library. Often the loudest person in the room kind of gets the most attention and is sort of maybe seen as more powerful or more capable or things like that. And that's not always the case. The next thing I learned is that I have ADHD, and I actually didn't learn this until the last few years. I think I made a video about it a while back when I was trying to seek a diagnosis. So I'll link that if I can find it, or you can maybe search for it on the channel. But I spent a long time of my life thinking that I was maybe lazy or maybe unmotivated or just really distractible. And then I found out that I'm neurodivergent and I'm just wired a little bit differently. And with my ADHD, I have the inattentive type of ADHD, so that is a lot less understood, I think, and probably more undiagnosed because it just kind of flies under the radar. So you might be more familiar with sort of the stereotype of ADHD, where a child is very, in a classroom setting, maybe loud, disruptive, can't sit still, fidgeting all the time. But for me, in the way that my ADHD presents itself is all of that energy and excitement and movement and all of that stuff is happening in here. So my brain just goes, doesn't stop. I'm constantly thinking about 1,000,001 things. I have so many notebooks around my house with different notes. I have post-it notes everywhere. It can get a little bit chaotic and a little bit wild, but I have found strategies that work for me. I used to lose my keys all the time. I used to show up late for things here and there, and I've gotten a lot better over time finding different strategies that work for me, and therapy and things like that. I used to think I was lazy or I wasn't doing enough, and I've come to accept that I just operate a little bit differently and I just have some different needs, and that's okay. When going through a difficult time, keep your humor. Your humor will keep you sane. Your humor will keep the joy alive even when you're going through really dark times. I've been through a lot. Like I mentioned, I've had a lot of health issues in the past, and I have always kept my humor, and that is something that I learned from my parents. I really have to credit them for that, because I think otherwise I would just dwell and be so sad and so upset and just down about things when they don't go my way. But I am able to acknowledge that things suck and be upset about it, and at the same time joke about it and have a little dark humor, and that's okay. It helps you get through. Breathe. Take moments to just breathe, to literally pause, inhale, exhale, and just exist. Just be for a minute or two. It's wildly helpful. My apartment will always be a little bit or a lot messy, and that's okay. I don't live in a stage house, I don't live in a showroom, and my house is lived in. I have a kiddo, I have a husband, the three of us have different activities that we like to do at home, and the laundry isn't always just done and folded and put away. The dishes aren't always done immediately after a meal, and that's all right. I can take a step back and get things done and make things tidier and organize things and tidy things up and clean things, but we aren't minimalists, and our home won't look like that type of aesthetic, and that's okay. I think guilty pleasures are really stupid. If you enjoy something, just enjoy it. It doesn't have to be a guilty pleasure. It doesn't have to be anything that you're embarrassed about or whatever. If you like trashy, reality TV shows, cool. If you like music that you think is embarrassing, just enjoy it. You know, you don't have to you don't have to feel weird about it. It's fine. People are always going to judge you no matter what. So I figure just like what you like. For example, I love musicals. They're awesome. They're not for everyone, but I love them. Reading is fantastic. I love reading. Not everyone likes it. Some people think it's nerdy and weird, but it's awesome. I love it. I like to make friendship bracelets. I'm almost 40, but I still do it. It's fun. Why not? I do that while I'm watching old 90s and early 2000s sitcoms for the 1200th time. Why? Because I like to. I don't find it embarrassing or like a guilty pleasure. It's just something I enjoy. I also love playing Scrabble. We play Scrabble all the time. Scrabble rocks. What other people think of you really isn't your business. Okay, this is a really tricky one. I learned this one in yoga teacher training several years ago, and it's one that I am still working on and still learning to this day and still practicing. I have really intense rejection sensitivity dysphoria, which is related to my ADHD. And basically, I have this underlying assumption that people just don't like me or they're just very indifferent to me. And unless someone is very over the top and very goes out of their way to directly tell me that they like me or, you know, have a very strong indication that we're friends or that they enjoy my company or something like that, then I will just kind of assume that either they hate me or they're just very indifferent, like meh. And it's something that I'm working on because that's a really weird, I found out that that was a really weird assumption to have, to walk around the world just thinking that people either strongly dislike you or are very indifferent and just don't care if you're there or not or whatever. And so I'm working on that, and it's something that you know, I replay a lot of conversations in my head. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Like, that was not cool. That was a silly thing to say. Or why didn't I respond? Like, sometimes it takes me a moment to process something. Like, if someone says something to me, it can take me a moment to sort of process what they're saying. And so I might pause for a second and not respond right away. And, you know, I can dwell on these things and just, you know, be thinking about it at 3 a.m. And I'm learning that I don't have to do that. It's not that deep. And also, what people think of me is not really my business, right? And whether they like me or not, it doesn't hugely matter in the grand scheme of things. And obviously, if I'm trying to be friends with someone or trying to like maintain some sort of relationship with someone, yeah, it's important. But just generally with the other humans that you see randomly, you'll see them once and never see them again, or maybe you see them at the grocery store once a week or whatever it is. It's fine. It's not that deep. Another thing I've learned is to trust people when they compliment you. And this took me some time to learn, which sounds ridiculous, but let me know in the comment section if you have had this experience as well. When someone compliments you and you immediately go into self-deprecating mode, and whether you're just thinking it or whether you say it out loud, you're just automatically thinking they're wrong. Just like, nope, I don't see it, right? And so it took me time to really learn to accept compliments and not feel really uncomfortable with compliments and like be okay with it. And if someone says a nice thing, it's because they mean the nice thing. Just like if I say something kind to someone else, it's because I genuinely mean it, and I'm saying it because I mean it, obviously. So I think the best thing to do to kind of learn and practice this is, regardless of the thought that enters your head, if someone compliments you, oh, thank you so much, and just move on, right? It doesn't need to be a big, long, drawn-out thing. You never know what someone else is going through, so be compassionate, try to give people the benefit of the doubt, and be understanding of where other people are coming from, because you really never know what people have been through in their past or what they're currently going through now. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to rest and enjoy rest and not be trying to be productive and do something while you're resting. Just Take the time to just rest. It's okay. If you're one of those people who is always on the go and always on the move and your brain is just racing a mile a minute, take some time to decompress. You'll feel better for it. You don't have to be good at something in order to do the thing and enjoy it. So you might have a hobby that you like, or a sport, or some kind of activity that you like to do, and you could just be really mediocre and just continue to do the thing. I used to think that you sort of had to be good at the thing in order to do it, and that's not necessarily true. You can just enjoy, and maybe over time with more practice, because you like the thing, maybe you'll improve, maybe you'll get better at it, and you'll develop new skills and get better and improve. Or, maybe you'll just enjoy it and pick it up from time to time and continue to be mediocre, and that's okay too. For example, if you're trying to learn a musical instrument, or learn a new language, or learn just a new skill, a new sport, something, you could just do the thing and enjoy it, and you don't have to be particularly good at it to just get joy out of it anyway. Perfection does not exist, and I will take progress over perfection any day. Perfection really doesn't exist, and sometimes we're seeking that and seeking to do the best and be the best and give our 100%, and perfection really just, it doesn't exist. It doesn't have a good definition. It's not there. So I think in making changes to your lifestyle, or in making progress with any skill, it's not going to be perfect, and that's okay, but making progress will really enhance your life and make you feel good and get you towards reaching your goals. Be persistent and advocate for yourself. This is important in a lot of different contexts, but I will speak to healthcare, the medical system, doctors, healthcare providers. So important. If you think that something is off, if you think something is not right in your body, if you're not feeling well, if things are not going right, advocate for yourself. Take notes on your symptoms, on things that have changed, on what's going on, how it's impacting your life. Be prepared going into those appointments, and be persistent, and don't give up until you get a response, until you get the tests that you need, or the medication that you need, or the diagnosis that you need, all these different things. Don't give up. Stay determined and focused. It can be really tiring and really challenging at times, but it is well worth it to stick with it and to try to find answers for yourself to feel better, and to find solutions with a healthcare provider that's actually going to listen and work with you to find good solutions. We're all messy humans, and no one has it all figured out. Some people really look like they have it all together and they have it all figured out, and they don't. In one area or another of their life, they don't. Teach your kids that being different is okay. And if you don't have kids, then if you're like the cool auntie or the cool uncle or someone else in a child's life, if you're a teacher, if you work with children in some capacity, be that person who says that it's okay to be different, it's okay to be yourself, it's okay to express yourself, and to be you. Keep your peace, protect your peace as much as possible. Don't spend time with people who are just going to sap your energy and make you feel bad and just be a big ball of negativity. Find ways to get some peace in your life, and find ways to ground yourself in the present moment. Find ways to give yourself a break, give yourself a little rest, give yourself some time to yourself, and really protect your energy, and don't just blindly say yes to everything or overcommit yourself. Really consider what you need and what will be workable for you to protect your peace. I know I said be yourself earlier, so related to that, and I probably should have put this one first, is get to know yourself. Really tune into yourself and get to know who you really are. What are your values? What's important to you? what's not important to you that maybe you thought was, but you can let it go and it's not important. What do you care about and who are you at your core? And I think this is a continually evolving and changing and a continued learning process as you get older and as you learn and as you grow and you get wiser and learn more things about yourself and about the world around you. But I encourage you to continue to peel the onion, peel back the layers, and really figure out who you are. And I think I'm always in a constant state of doing that. And it feels good to do that. It feels good to explore who I really am and what is really important to me and what I care about and what I want to do and who I want to be. Another super important lesson that I've learned is that your value as a human being is just that. It is just in being a human being. We're human beings, not human doings. And although it is fun to be creative or to be productive, be helpful, be a member of society, your value and your worth as a human is not connected to that. Your value and worth as a human is also not connected to your body size or your appearance or anything like that. Hard times are temporary, but so are good times. And so I think it's really important to appreciate the good times and be really grateful for them and really savor them as much as possible and really enjoy them as much as we can and really soak it all in and try to live in those moments as much as possible. And then when hard times come, reassuring ourselves that this too shall pass and, we're always riding that wave through life. And, things will be up and down, and that's the nature of things. That's how things go. And the only thing that is really a given and that we know is going to happen is change. Life is short, and none of us will get out alive. And that might sound morbid and like a strange thing to put on the list, but aging is a privilege, and it's a privilege that is not afforded to everyone. Some people aren't around past their 20th, 30th, 40th, 50th, 60th birthdays. And so if we can really embrace aging and really even embrace the signs of aging and be more okay with wrinkles, with spots, with graying hair, with thinning hair, with just things that happen as we age, and at the same time really taking care of ourselves and focusing on things we do have control over and being as healthy and as fit as possible. I know that's something that I really value and is really important to me, to be as healthy and fit as possible. And my goal when I'm 50 is to be more healthy and more fit and more vibrant and smarter and wiser at 50 than I am at 40. So I hope you really enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Please do give it a like if you liked it and subscribe to the channel below if you'd like to see more from me. I would love to hear what you have learned over your years of life, whether you're 20, whether you're 40, whether you're 60, or anywhere in between or above or below that. I would love to hear what you have learned, what have been the greatest lessons that have been given to you, that either have been given to you as advice or tips, or things that you have learned along the way in your life. I think we can all learn from each other and share and continue the conversation in the comments section below. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!